Oh, hi, boys and girls. It's me, Mrs. Salmon. I'm just hanging out in the back garden with Ryan.
What a sunny day it is today.
It sure is, but golly, it's really windy out here.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of what our next lesson's going to be. Today we're going to make windsocks. Now, windsocks have been used for centuries to measure the speed and the force of wind. Why do you think they call them windsocks, Ryan?
Because they look like socks, of course.
Oh yeah, that's true, they do. Now, windsocks can also be beautiful, and this is art. In Japan, this is called a koinobori. It means carp streamer. It's shaped like a koi fish. Have you ever seen a koi fish? In Japan, the koi fish represents strength. You can find these beautiful windsocks being flown on a very special holiday in Japan in the month of May. Does anyone know what this holiday is? It's Children's Day. They have a special day dedicated just to you. Isn't that fantastic? It's a day they celebrate children's future, that you stay healthy and strong. Are you healthy and strong? I hope so. So are you ready to make your own Koinobori Windsock? Come on, let's go and do art.
Do art. Do art. Doodly do. Do art. Do art. Doodly do. Just grab your paper and your pencil too.
You can grab your scissors, markers, and your glue. You can do art. You can doodly do. Do art. Do art. Doodly do. Do art. Do art. Do what? Art! You're smart!
So today we're making Koinobori Windsocks. You'll see on the board behind me that I've already made a few. I did these with my boys earlier. There's so many different fantastic ways you can decorate them. Let's look at some pictures of some more beautiful windsocks. Let's talk about what you're going to need for today's lesson. It's up here on the board if you ever need a reminder. Today you will need white paper, typing paper is great, colored markers, a pencil, a rubber, glue stick, string, scissors, a stapler or some tape, a strip of thin cardboard, a cereal box works great, and a hole puncher. You'll need Mommy and Daddy for that bit, but we'll talk about it later when we get there. If you have all those things, you're ready to get started. Now first make sure your paper is in the portrait position, not the landscape position, but the portrait position. We're going to fold our paper in half. Super easy. Make a nice crease at the bottom. Now keep your paper in this position and let's get our pencils ready. And now we're going to make some lines to create our fish's shape, okay? So the first line you're going to make, you start at the top of your page. We're going to make a nice easy line, a curved line to create the head of our fish from the top to the side. Nice curved line there, really easy. Now we're going to go to the opposite side of the paper and we're going to do another curved line, but watch me. We're going to make the curve go down and then up because we're creating a tail of our fish. Do you see that? This curve will be the head, and this curve down and up is going to create our tail. Okay, now that we've drawn those two lines, we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out along the pencil lines. Now make sure when you have your scissors in your hands that you're extra careful. If you need help from Mommy and Daddy, please do ask. All right, we're cutting along this pencil line, which is going to create our tail. And now we're going to cut along this pencil line, which is going to create the head of our fish. Okay, you might be able to see that a bit more clearly now. This is the head and this is the tail. Okay, now that we've cut those two pieces off, we're going to glue the top part of our paper together. So keeping your crease at the bottom, we're going to glue right where we just cut. So let's get our glue stick ready. And instead of using the entire tip of the glue stick, let's just use a little bit of it. We only need a little bit of glue. going at the top. So open up your fish. Now let's start at the head and let's make a skinny line, not too much glue, all the way around and up to the tail. That little bit, the little swoosh there is the tail, okay? Now let's press it back down, make sure it's nice and glued. And the way you can check if you did it correctly is if you can open it up and see through it. It's a little bit tricky opening up. Okay, let's see if we can see through it, see if we did it correctly. Look at that, there you go. Can you do that in yours? That's what it should look like. Okay, let's make sure we put our glue top back on so the glue doesn't dry out. And let's take our pencil again, and now we're gonna draw a face on our fish. Okay, so we are going to first start with the fish's eye. Now I'd like you to draw a big circle where the curved line is. That's his head, remember? And the line that went down and up that we cut is the tail. So go to the curved side and draw a big circle there for his eye. A nice big circle. And then on the inside of that circle, we're going to draw another circle. This one's going to be medium sized. Okay? And now I'll show you a little trick. If you want to make the eye look like it has a nice reflection in it, you can draw a little rectangle. Now that rectangle is going to stay white inside, and it will later look like a reflection in his eye. Okay, staying on the same side of our paper, we're going to now draw our fish's mouth. Let's draw a line coming towards the bottom here, not at the very bottom of the crease, but right here between our eye and the bottom. And let's make a line coming out there. That's a cute smiley face. I'm going to make my mouth a little bit bigger. So if you'd like to do the same, watch what I do. I'm going to draw a big top lip there and a big bottom lip here. Do you see how that has made big giant lips? My fish has got big giant kissy lips. How about yours? Okay, we've drawn our eye and we've drawn our mouth. Now we're going to draw a gill. Because if you remember, fish breathe underwater, and they do this because they have gills. So let's give our fish a gill. We're going to start our line right next to our eye. So come over a little bit here from our eye, and we're just going to draw a slightly curved line all the way down to the bottom of our paper. See that? Okay, we've done one side of our fish. Don't forget, we've got two sides, so let's turn it over. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So first we remember that the rounded part here is the head, and the swoosh part in the back is the tail. So let's draw a nice big eye again, a nice big circle. Okay, and then on the inside of that circle, another big circle. And I'm going to do one of those little reflection rectangles there again. Remember, that's going to stay white. Okay, we've got our nice big eye. Let's now draw the line for our mouth. So we're just going to draw a curved line going from there to the edge of the paper to make a nice half smiley face. Now again, I'm going to make my mouth a little bit big, well, quite big. So I'm going to draw up and over, and then down and over. Hope you can see how I did that. Now, if it doesn't look exactly the same as the other side, it's okay, because you're never going to see both sides of your fish at the same time, so it's fine. I have a feeling these lips are a little bit bigger than the other ones, but that's okay. There's no mistakes in art. Art is fun. Okay, let's draw our gill. Remember, our gill is going to be right where the middle of our eye is and all the way down to the end of the paper. So let's go. And a little bit curved at the bottom and touch the bottom. And there's our gill. Okay, so let's turn it back over to the first side, and we're going to work on our scales. Okay, now that we've drawn the face, we're ready to put the scales on our fish. This is going to make our fish look amazing. So very important, I need you to draw big, giant scales, not tiny ones, okay? We're gonna make big scales on our fish. So turn your fish towards you so its mouth and eye are towards you. And we're going to start on the edge of our paper at the top, which is the side of the curve here. And we're going to make a giant M. And we're going to touch the top of the gill. And we're going to keep going across our page, making mountains. Are you ready? Follow me. 1, touch the gill. 2, look at that mountain. And 3, and I can't even finish because I go off my paper, but that's absolutely fine. So that's our first row of scales. Now let's work on our second row. So we're going to do big giant mountains again, big M's, but we're going to start this time and we're going to touch the top of this mountain and leap across to the top of this one and do it again, leap across. So here we go. Let's come down and touch the top of this mountain and then leap across with our giant M's. Leap across to the next one, and then we go off our page again. All right, we're ready for our third row of scales. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start here where the tail is, and we're going to touch the top of this mountain and leap over and touch the top of the next, and leap over, and we're off the page. So I managed to get 3 rows of scales in, which is perfect. Hopefully you have about the same. The more scales we have, the more coloring we have to do, and that takes a lot of time. So big scales are good. Now we got to turn our fish over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, here we go. We've turned our fish over. Don't forget, we've got the mouth facing us, the mouth and the eye facing us, and we're going to draw our scales again. Nice, big, giant scales. We'll start at the edge of our paper this time where the crease is, and we're going to make 1 M down and another across, up and over, and up and over. Okay, that was our first row of scales. Now let's do our second row. Same thing, we're going to start on the crease of our paper. We're going to go down and we're going to touch the top of that mountain and leap across, and leap across. Nice big scales. Okay, that's our second row, and same thing for our third row. Start at the crease, down to the top of this mountain and leap across, and leap across. There we go, that's our third row of scales. We have a little bit of white left over, so let's just do one more row. Just like that. There we go. And we're done on our second side. Okay, don't forget, we're never going to see both sides at the same time, as we've got one side of our fish and the other. So if they look a little bit different, it's okay. You'll see how I have 4 rows of scales on this side and only 3 on this side, but that's absolutely okay. Now, before we start putting color on our scales, we're going to outline a few things with black. Outlining things with black make them stand out or pop. So we are going to outline the eyes, the gill, and the mouth on both sides of our paper. So let's take your black pen and follow the pencil line. Let's start with our gill. Follow the pencil line down. Cover your pencil line with black. We'll do the same with the eye. Follow around. And now on the inside of the eye, the second circle. Now trace around your rectangle. And now we're going to color the eyeball in. So take your black marker and just color that in. Don't color in your little rectangle, because that's going to be a special little reflection in the eye of your fish. You'll see what I mean when we're finished. Okay. Now, do you see that? Now we're going to trace over the mouth. Now I've got my big lips here. You might not have those. You might just have this line, but make sure you trace over it. Okay, that's one side. We're going to flip our fish over and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll start with our gill, trace our pencil line with our black pen, Now let's do our eye. Same thing with the eye, all the way around. Now the center of our eye, which is our eyeball, trace that. Our little reflection rectangle, and now let's color our eyeball in. Okay, here we go. Nice big black eyeball. I think it looks great that these fish have big giant eyes. Okay. There we go. And we can move on to our mouth. Now I'm going to trace my big giant fish lips there. And then, of course, the line inside. All right, we can put our black pins down and we're ready to get going on our beautiful scales. So now we're going to put color on our scales. Let's make a plan for what colors we're going to use. I think it's always good to make a plan before we start. So you could use one color on your scales, like blue, for example, or you could use one color and just do pink, for example, or you could choose 3 colors and repeat them in a pattern. I know you're all good at pattern making. I'm going to choose 3 of my favorite colors, which are blue, turquoise, and pink. What are your favorite colors? Which colors will you choose? So I'm also going to make sure I have a red or a pink for the mouth of my fish. And if I have those colors chosen, I'm ready to get started on my scales. Today we're going to outline our scales together. We're not going to color them in completely. You can color them in later if you like. Here's one that I did earlier. I also left a white border on the outside of my scales. This looks fantastic, but it takes a very long time. So if you want to color yours in, you can do that later. For now, we're just going to outline with color. Don't forget you can pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast. Okay, now we're going to outline our scales with our colors. Now I'm going to turn my fish towards me. So again, its mouth and its eye are facing me. And I'm going to start with my blue marker. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm going to start with blue. So first, I'm going to decide which scale will I make blue. Now I'm going to make this quite random, but I'll start with this one. And I'm going to outline the pencil with blue. Now I'm going to choose this scale and do the same thing. Now you can choose whichever ones you want for your outlining, for your colors. I'm just doing this randomly. I don't want my blue scales to be next to each other. Let me just fix it there. So I'm going to choose ones that aren't next to each other. So how about this one over here? This one will be blue. And maybe this one up at the top. This one will be blue. And using the blue marker, or whatever marker you have first, and doing several of them will save time. So I'll put this blue marker away, and I'm going to pick up my next color. Okay, the next color I'm going to choose is my pink. So I will decide which one of my scales should be pink. How about the one right in the middle? Now I'm going to outline the first scale in pink, just like that. Now I'm going to choose this one up here. This one will be pink. You can choose whichever ones you want with the color that you have. How about this one over here? That's only half of a mountain, but that's okay. And then lastly, I'm going to choose this one up here and this one over here. So I've done lots of pink mountains. Here, one more, because all the rest of them are going to be my third color. So I'll put the pink away and I'll choose my third color. Now my third color I chose is turquoise. It's also one of my favorite shades of blue. So I'm going to color all of the scales that are still in pencil. I'm going to outline them with my last color. It's kind of a greeny turquoise, but it's such a pretty color. I wonder what colors you chose. See, so all the rest of my scales are in this final third color. Now, I'm not going to forget my fish's mouth, and I chose red for its mouth. So I'm just going to color in my lips. If you don't have big fish lips like mine, you can color just the line that you drew. Just put a little bit of red around it or pink, whatever you're going to do, just to make it look like a nice colorful mouth. Okay. How's yours looking? There we go. Nice big red mouth. All right, now we're going to turn it over and do the same on our other side. So we're on the second side now, and we're going to put color on our scales. Now the first color I did before was blue, so I'll start with blue again. I'm going to outline this scale with blue, and let's choose this one. I'll outline this one with blue, and then this one at the top. And then let's see, possibly this one over here. Okay, now I'm finished with my blue, and I'll pick up my next color, which was pink. Now let's choose this middle one again as pink. And how about this one on top? And this one at the very top. And let's do this little one right here. Okay, now I'm going to put my pink down and choose my final color, which was my turquoise color. And I'm going to do all the rest of my scales with this color. Okay, now the last thing I have to do on this side of the page is my mouth. I'm going to color my mouth in red. And then I will be finished with this side of my fish as well. Okay, nice big red mouth. There we go. And now we are finished with our second side of our fish. We finished outlining our scales with color, and our fish is colorful and bright. Now our fish needs a tail to help it fly. Okay, we've moved our fish and our markers to the side, and now we're going to work on making the tail to our fish. We're going to make this tail by taking a new white sheet of paper and our scissors. Now I've put this blue piece of paper down so you can better see what I'm doing. Take your scissors in hand and make sure you're holding your paper landscape position, okay? Now careful with your scissors. We're going to start at the bottom of our paper, and we're going to cut long triangle streamers. So start at the bottom and cut in a diagonal direction all the way up to the top of your paper. We're going to do this 6 times. We want 6 long triangular streamers for our tail. So that's 2. Start at the bottom again and cut up diagonally. Always remember, be super careful with your scissors, and if you need help, make sure to ask. That was 3. How many more do we need to make 6? Ooh, who knows the answer? That's right, 3 if you said it. Hey, who stuck maths in with our art lesson? That's no fun. Okay, let's see, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, oh, that's 5. 1 more makes 6. So we've got 6 long triangular streamers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're all finished with the tail. Let's attach it to our fish. So we've brought our fish back over, and I'm keeping this piece of blue paper so you can better see it. We've got our glue stick, we've got our fish, and we've got our 6 long triangular pointy streamers that we made. Now we're going to attach 3 of our streamers to one side of the tail and 3 of our streamers to the other side of the tail. So, and I also want you to remember that this needs to stay open. So let's be sure not to get any glue on the inside. We're gluing these long streamers to the outside of our fish. Okay, let's get started. Let's take our glue stick first, and we'll put a long strip of glue on the top of this piece of paper, right along the edge of our tail. Okay, put the top back on your glue. Now choose one of your long streamers and place it down on top of the glue. Now, if you're covering over any scales, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I don't have any scales at the bottom of my fish, so I'm not covering it up, but if you do, it's okay. Now I'm putting down another long pointy streamer. I've got 2 down. Now I want to add 1 more, but I'm going to need to put some glue on the bottom of my last streamer so I can attach it. So this is my 3rd streamer. I'm going to put it right on top and in the middle. Okay, so that's one side. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to attach my last 3 strong, long, pointy streamers to this side. So first we're going to put the glue down. Nice long strip of glue. Put your glue top back on and pick your first streamer that's going to go down. Press it down on the glue so it sticks. Now your second one. Press it down nicely so it sticks. And I've got 1 streamer left. I'm going to add the glue to that streamer and I'm going to lay it on the top, right in the middle. There we go. Now we've attached our long triangular streamers to the bottom of our fish. Now let's make sure we haven't glued the tail together. By doing that, we'll open it up. Let's put our hand through and make sure. Yep, looks like I'm good. Can you do that with yours? Make sure you still have a nice big open area there and you can stick your hand all the way through. If you've done that, you're all set. Okay, so we've got our fish here. We've got our pair of scissors again, and we are now going to make this into a windsock. So one of the first things we need to do is somehow keep the mouth of our windsock or our fish open. So the first thing I want you to do is pick up your fish and let's open up the mouth, okay? So get it ready for opening up that mouth. We'll lay it back down. And now let's get the thin cardboard that you need out. You see, I have a cereal box that works so well. Look how much I've cut it up. I've done so many of these windsocks already. I almost have no cereal box left. So let's take our scissors and we're going to carefully cut out a long strip of the cereal box. If you had a side of the cereal box left, like I don't, that would work perfectly, but I'm just going to cut a long strip here. Okay, and then cut it off here. Always be careful with scissors. Make sure, ask Mommy and Daddy if you need any help. Put the scissors down, put the box away, and I'm left with this long strip of cardboard. So I'm going to fold this strip and make it into a circle. And look at that. Guess what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to put this inside the fish's mouth. Now, if it's too big, all you have to do is squeeze the cardboard together and make it smaller. We put it inside the fish's mouth and then let it go, and it should open up and spread the mouth of your fish out like that. See that? So we've spread out the mouth of our windsock and it's nice and secure in there. We just need to make sure that it doesn't move. So you can either use a stapler or some tape and just tape the cardboard to the paper to make sure that it doesn't move. I'm going to just use tape and we're going to tape it down. So you're going to fold a piece of tape on the outside and then fold it inside into the cardboard so the cardboard doesn't move. One more piece of tape and that should be plenty inside the cardboard and around the top. You won't even see it because it's clear. So you see that? So I've taped it in 2 places and that should be enough. And then your cardboard is securely inside your fish's mouth. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to punch holes on either side of our windsock so we can put our string through. Now, a hole here and a hole here, about where your lips are or your smile is. So not everybody will have a hole puncher. If you don't have a hole puncher, you need to ask Mommy or Daddy to put a hole inside, and it's cardboard, so it's going to need some strength to put a hole in it. So please be sure to ask Mommy and Daddy for this help, okay? I have a hole puncher, so I'll show you what I'm going to do. You put the hole puncher all the way in till you can't go anymore, because you want your hole to be far enough in that it doesn't end up ripping open. Now we're going to do the other side, about the same place where this mouth is. I'm going to put it all the way through and punch my hole. Now, this is going to be where we string the string through. Okay, now we're going to take our string and we're going to string it through the hole. Now, let's take a long enough piece of string that we can definitely have a nice long windsock. So I would say, how about if you make your string a little bit longer than the length of your arm. Okay, and then take your scissors and we're going to cut the string. So now we've got one nice long piece of string. Okay, and we're going to string the string through one hole and then out the other side. And then all we have to do is make a knot at the end of the string. So you might need Mommy and Daddy to help you with this as well. I'm not going to tie a bow, we're just going to make a knot. So I'm going to make a knot this end of the string so it won't open up. And then we have put our string through our windsock's mouth, and now look at what we've done. We have finished our windsock. We've finished with our Koinobori Windsock. Now look at this. We've got the hole in the mouth so the wind will go right through. We've got our string so we can pull it along. We've got our lovely long triangular streamers on its tail, and we've colored all the scales in different colors. And remember, you can always go back and color your scales in if you want to make it look even brighter. Now I think I'm ready to go outside and see if this guy can fly. How about you? Let's go give it a try. You can add fins to your windsock. Just cut out some triangles and glue them on the side. Give it a go and see what you think. Well, that's the end of our lesson. I hope you've enjoyed making your Koinobori Windsock. Now let's go outside and watch them fly. With a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of imagination, every day can be Children's Day. Oh, but wait, we need to finish with our song, of course. Ryan, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Do art, doodly do, do art, doodly do.
Just grab your paper and your pencil too.
You can grab your marker, scissors, and your glue. You can do art, you can doodly do, do art, doodly do, do art, do what?
Art.
You're smart.
Yeah.